At some point, someone told you to stop pretending, and the worst part is, you listened. When I was a kid, I wanted nothing more than to be a superhero. I wanted to swing through New York City like Spider-Man, or fly through the clouds like Superman. I wanted to save the world and still be home in time for dinner. And I believed that was possible in a way that only a kid could. There was even a period of time when I was convinced the Force was real. During Pee Wee soccer games, I would always try to be the goalie, so I could use the Force to stop the balls before they go in the goal. My parents still make fun of me for this, but I'd like to think it worked at least once. Back then, the world felt enormous. Every day felt like it was the beginning of some grand adventure. I was sure I was going to do something extraordinary. Video games made me feel the same way. There was a magic to booting up a game as a kid that's hard to explain to someone who hasn't experienced it. The loading screens alone felt like the beginning of something important, like anything could happen on the other side of it. But lately, something has shifted. There's been a growing frustration among gamers, claiming that the modern games don't have the same soul that older ones do, that something essential has been lost. And most people who feel this way fall into one of two camps. The first group blames the games themselves. They claim that games have become too woke or too corporate, that there are too many live service games that emphasize microtransactions to extract money rather than deliver an experience. The magic is gone because the industry killed it. The second group turns blame inward, and they think that they're just too old for games. I would wager that most people who've graduated from high school have thought that maybe gaming was always a young person's thing, and they simply aged out of it. But I think both camps are missing something essential. I believe the real problem comes from a third place altogether. We forgot how to play games like kids. Society has spent a long time telling people to be ashamed of what they enjoy, and gaming is no exception for that. For decades, it was dismissed as childish, antisocial, and a waste of time, something you're supposed to outgrow as you get older. And that rhetoric doesn't just disappear, it gets internalized. It makes people hesitate to open up about what they love out of fear of not fitting in. To avoid this, older people tend to play games differently. We avoid games that seem too childish and look for games that are acceptable to talk about in public eye. This has led to the consumption of games instead of trying to experience them, which is why so many people feel like they're too old for video games. Instead of enjoying what they're playing, they're keeping one eye on their screen and one eye on what everyone else thinks about what they're playing. And here's the thing about the argument that games have no soul. There are plenty of games releasing right now that have as much craft and soul as anything that came out before them. Just in the last year, there have been unique experiences like Expedition 33, Hades 2, Dispatch, and the recently released Mina the Hollower. Each of these games are outstanding and worthwhile for everyone to play. So if the problem isn't that soulful games don't exist, what is then? The problem is that the sheer volume of games being released every year has exploded, and a lot of the volume is filled with junk. More and more games are being rushed out as half-finished to make a profit. Studios are forcing developers to make live service games because executives are telling them to. Companies are cutting corners by using AI so they can produce their games faster. Now more than ever, finding a good game is hard. But when we finally find those good games, how do we enjoy them like we used to? Playing like a kid doesn't mean playing children's games. It doesn't mean pretending every game is perfect or trying to recreate the exact feeling you had when you were 10 years old. That isn't possible. What is possible is rediscovering the mindset that made those experiences feel magical in the first place. Kids approach games with curiosity instead of efficiency in mind. They choose what excites them instead of what's optimal. They allow themselves to become completely immersed without worrying whether something is cool, mature, or worth their time. And if we want games to feel magical again, that's where we need to start. Minecraft might be the purest example of what it means to play like a kid again. There's no one telling you where to go, no urgent task demanding your attention, and no mission marker pulling you towards the next objective. Just a world and a question. What happens if I go over there? You see a mountain, so you climb it. You fall into a cave, so you explore it. You spend an hour and a half wandering in the wrong direction, and somehow it still feels like it was time well spent. As adults, we have a tendency to optimize the fun out of things. We look up guides before we start, research the best builds, and treat every game like a problem that needs to be solved efficiently. But kids don't play that way. They follow their curiosity. Minecraft reminds us that sometimes the best way to enjoy a game is to stop asking how you're supposed to play it and start asking what interests you. And once you learn that lesson, you can bring it to every other game you touch. Pokemon teaches a different lesson altogether. When you're a kid, your team isn't built around statistics, tier lists, or competitive viability. It's most likely built around whichever Pokemon is your starter. I still remember having my overleveled Infernape decimate Sinnoh, which just so happens to be the best Pokemon region, and I will fight anyone who says otherwise. Or maybe you carry a completely underpowered favorite like Bidoof all the way to the Elite Four just because you think they're cute. The point is that your decision comes from excitement rather than optimization. Somewhere along the way, a lot of us stopped doing that. People start caring about what's the strongest instead of what they actually enjoy. We let efficiency replace attachment. Pokemon reminds us that fun doesn't always come from making the best choices. Sometimes it comes from making the choices that feel personal. And that lesson extends far beyond Pokemon. If a game gives you options, pick one that excites you, the one that makes you smile, the one that makes you feel something. You'd be surprised how much more fun games become when you stop treating them like work. Then there's Kingdom Hearts, a game that was specifically designed to teach adults a new lesson: how to be sincere. Kingdom Hearts is unapologetically earnest. It wants you to care about friendship, it wants you to get excited when you step into a new Disney World, and it wants you to believe. And kids are incredibly good at all of that. They don't approach stories with their arms crossed looking for reasons to be disappointed. They dive in completely and allow themselves to be swept away. As adults, we keep a layer of distance between ourselves and things we love. We protect ourselves with irony and cynicism, so worried we'll be let down. It's almost as if we're watching ourselves have fun instead of just having it. Kingdom Hearts doesn't let you do that though. It's too sincere to meet you halfway. I still remember finding the 100 Acre Woods for the first time. Suddenly I wasn't analyzing game mechanics or thinking about what to do next. I was the kid watching Winnie the Pooh at daycare, getting so excited when my teacher rolled out a big TV and put on Winnie the Pooh. And that's what Kingdom Hearts can teach you. Wonder only works when you're willing to participate in it. The moment you stop protecting yourself from caring is usually the moment the magic comes back. Playing Kingdom Hearts like a kid means putting the cynicism down for a few hours. Don't roll your eyes at the Disney Worlds or the power of friendship. Don't skip the cutscenes. Let it be sincere. These games don't bring childhood back in the same way. Minecraft reminds us to be curious. Pokemon reminds us to choose what we love. And Kingdom Hearts reminds us that the best experiences require us to be sincere. But they're all trying to give us the same thing. Not childhood itself, but permission. Permission to stop worrying about whether we're playing the right game or not. Permission to stop optimizing everything. Permission to care about things without needing to justify why they matter. Because outside of these games, adulthood has a way of burying that person. You sit in traffic, replay awkward conversations in your head. You stare at emails, pay bills, handle responsibilities that are necessary, but rarely make you feel like you're about to save the world. Nobody tells you that growing up can make you feel like you're shrinking, but you feel it anyway. These games push back against that, not by lying to you, but by reminding you that the part of yourself that believed in impossible things was just waiting for an invite to go somewhere. There will always be a part of me that wants to believe I can fly. A part of me that thinks maybe the Force works if I focus hard enough. A part that still wants to save the world. And honestly, I like my life a lot more when that part is around. Because adulthood could use a little more childishness, a little more curiosity, and a little more imagination. Society told you that growing up was meant leaving those things behind, but it was wrong. Growing up was never about outgrowing the kid inside you. It was about finding a new place for them to live. And maybe that's what games are for. They're not escapism or a distraction. They're a place where curiosity is rewarded, where wonder still exists, and where sincerity isn't something to be embarrassed about. A place that never asks you to grow up. So the next time you pick up a controller, don't ask what's optimal, don't ask what's popular, don't ask what everyone else says you should enjoy. Ask what makes you curious and excites you, then follow that feeling. Because the moment you stop trying to play games the right way is usually the moment you start feeling that magic again. And maybe that's what we've been missing all this time. Not better games, but a better way of playing them. It's beautiful to still believe in the impossible. Thank you guys for watching the video. What games remind you of your childhood? If you guys enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Also, I plan on releasing 2 videos a month moving forward, so keep your eyes out for future videos. I hope you have a great day. Peace.